Okay, let's start with the prayers. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Distarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swamiti Namacharya Pataya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we're going to summarize Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters in 1 hour. Actually, it's not very amazing because Krishna took only 1 hour to tell Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and Arjuna understood it. So, but it's not possible for us. We are human beings, and that too we are from Kali Yuga. To speak all the 700 verses and understand all the 700 verses, it's very impossible. But we will do a humble attempt, okay? With the blessings of Lord Sri Krishna, let's try to understand the entire Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Sri Krishna. So when was this? What is the situation in which Bhagavad Gita was spoken? That is on a war field in Kurukshetra. The situation is that there are one family called Kauravas, and in that there are two brothers, right? One is Pandu Maharaj and one is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was born blind, right? And he had 100 sons. Because he was blind, he was not eligible to rule the kingdom. Whereas Pandu Maharaj, he was given the kingdom. And he was a very nice king, and he expanded the kingdom very nicely. He expanded like anything. So entire kingdom belonged to him. But he died early. So then there was no successor for him because his children were very young. He had 5 children, 2 wives and 5 children. But they were too young to rule. So therefore, they had given Dhritarashtra the temporary attorney as a king. That was only for a temporary basis until the Pandavas grow, so that they can take over, because the kingdom rightfully belongs to Pandavas. So with this agreement, Dhritarashtra started. But then later, because of his 100 sons, he was too much attached to them. Especially the eldest one, Duryodhana, was very envious of these 5 Pandavas who were always very righteous and very talented. So he wanted to become the king. So he was always pestering his father, and he was always trying to plot to kill the Pandavas. So in this situation, he had tried to kill Pandavas multiple times, but they were saved by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna. And finally, he cheated them by making a gambling match and took over all their kingdom, which they rightfully owned, the Indraprastha. They took over all that kingdom and they sent them to exile for 14 years. And to remain incognito for 1 year also, 13 years of exile and 1 year of incognito. When they came back and they said, give our kingdom, they were not ready to give. And despite of Lord Krishna himself acting as an ambassador of peace and trying to settle the matter with only 5 villages also, Duryodhana was not ready to give this kingdom back, the kingdom of Pandavas back. Now the war is inevitable, and right now we are in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And the first verse of Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra is asking his personal secretary what happened when everybody assembled in the place of pilgrimage, Kurukshetra. What did they do? And Sanjaya started to explain that Duryodhana went to his teacher. His teacher's name is Dronacharya. And he was insulting his teacher. He said, look how nicely your disciple has arranged the army in a nice formation. Look at the formation, how they have done. So he's indirectly telling, no, just don't forget your enmity with the son of Drupada. Okay. And he's wanting to kill you also. Don't be partial to the Pandavas. And then he started explaining about the great warriors who were there, right? He started speaking about the warriors, right, on the Pandava side, right, and the Kaurava side, right? So like Bhima and Arjuna, Yuyudhana, Virata, Drupada on the Pandava side. Great heroes, Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Kunti Bhoja, Shaibya, Yuddhamanyu, Uttamauja, right? And the sons of Draupadi, all these are great warriors on the side of Pandavas. And now he's talking about the people who are in the Kaurava army. So Kaurava's army is no less Bhima, Karna, you, that is Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Somadatta, Bhurishrava. So many people are there. So they are all ready to lay their lives also. Right? They are also ready to give up their lives also for my sake. So and then saying, so this is a conversation that's happening between Duryodhana and Dronacharya. Okay. And then he's telling the great Bhishma Acharya, he blew the conch shell. So officially the war begins when the conch shell is blown. The conch shell was blown. And next, the Pandavas blew their conch shells. Not Krishna and Arjuna. They blew their conch shells, transcendental conch shells called Panchajanya and Devadatta. Krishna's conch shell is called Panchajanya. Arjuna's conch shell is called Devadatta. Bhima's conch shell is called as Poundra. Yudhishthira Maharaj and everybody, all the Pandavas blew their conch shells. There was a tumultuous sound when Pandavas, along with Krishna, they blew their conch shells. And all the Kauravas, their hearts got shattered when they heard this sound, right? And then Arjuna told Krishna, Krishna, can you take me in between these two armies? I want to see what is happening. Then what happened? Krishna just took him exactly in front of Bhishma and Drona. And after when Arjuna saw Bhishma and Drona, and Krishna said, just look at everybody. Here is Bhishma, here is Drona. That's how he said. And then Arjuna saw all his friends and all his relatives. He became very compassionate. And he said, oh my God, they are all my friends, my relatives. How can I fight with my friends? This is not just a friendly cricket match. This is a place where you have to kill. That means I have to kill my friends. I have to kill my teacher. I have to kill my favorite grandfather, Bhishma. Can't do this. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on the end. He said, my Gandiva bow is slipping. And after all, what is the use of this kingdom? If everybody is going to die, how will I enjoy that kingdom? If all my friends and relatives will die, what will I do? What am I going to get by killing these, my cousin brothers? Right? I don't think we'll be happy by killing my own relatives, because killing relatives is considered to be very sinful also. How can I kill my own relatives? This is such a sinful activity, right? By quarreling with our own family and friends. And when the family tradition is elders in the family are destroyed, what happens is, elders are destroyed, the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. And when the irreligion becomes prominent, the women will not be protected and they will be polluted. When they become polluted, unwanted progeny will come. And this unwanted population will cause hellish life for the family. And for those who destroy family traditions, they will have to suffer in hell, because they will stop giving oblations to the ancestors. The ancestors also will have to go to hell. These people also have to go to hell. And so I have heard that such kind of people who stop all these religious activities of the family, they go to hell. How can we do this sinful activity? How are we trying to do this? And he said he became very overwhelmed, and he just, with his weapon in his hand, he says, I will better surrender to them without any weapons, right? I'll just better surrender to these Kauravas. Then looking at Arjuna full of compassion, and his eyes were full of tears, Krishna spoke this. Krishna said to Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? It's not at all correct. Anybody who knows the values of life, the Aryans, they don't do like this. Because you will neither go to the Swarga and you will get bad ill fame also, infamy. And it's very bad. I cannot believe that you have become so weak at this important moment. And then Arjuna countered, how can I fight with Bhishma and Drona? They're worthy of my worship. Drona is my teacher. Bhishma is my grandfather, whom I love so much. They're worshipable. They're so religious people, so nice. It's better that I become a beggar than to kill my own teacher. And what do you want me to do, Krishna? You want me to enjoy this kingdom which is tainted with the blood of my teacher? That's so bad. I can't do it. But I don't know. I sometimes feel that maybe I'm doing some mistake. I'm very confused. I think I'm being very miserly. I'm not able to decide what is correct. So you become my teacher and I'm completely surrendering unto you. Please instruct me because I am not able to drive away this grief that is coming into me. And even if you're going to give me a kingdom of heaven also, I don't want it. My grief will not be gone with that kind of enjoyment also. I'm feeling very, very depressed. So this is a very, very typical symptom of depression. You see, even very, very rich people also, they become depressed. They have everything with them. They have crores of rupees with them, but they are not able to find that peace of mind. They're very, very disturbed. They don't know what to do. And then he said, Govinda, I shall not fight. No, I'm not going to fight now. That's it, decided. Krishna said, you're speaking like a very learned person, but you're mourning for what is not worthy of me. Right? Because you're mourning for the body. Body is temporary. An intelligent person neither laments for living or for the dead. Actually, to tell you, there was no time that you did not exist or I did not exist or all these kings did not exist in the past also, in the future also. You are saying that Bhishma will die, Drona will die. I am saying they will not go anywhere because they are the souls. Only their body will be finished. That's it. But their soul will remain as it is and they will change the body. It's just like how when we are very young, we have a small baby body. When we become a little old, we get a youthful body. Then we get old body. Then the body changes. So it's a very natural thing. This is how the material nature has been designed. So if you're very intelligent, you don't have to feel bad about change of body because that's so natural and normal. And actually, a very well-trained person who can control his mind is neither disturbed by happiness or sadness. He can tolerate. So learn to tolerate this difficulties. There is always sometimes there's summer, sometimes there's winter, but then we have to learn to tolerate both. Anybody who is able to tolerate like that, he is eligible for liberation. Right? And actually speaking, whatever you're mourning for is for the body. Right? But that body is impermanent. It is going to die. But the soul is permanent. Right? So I'll tell you about the soul. Krishna started to speak about the soul. The soul is pervading the entire body. You see, in our body, if you just pinch any part of your skin, your fingers, hands, anywhere, you can feel some consciousness here, everywhere, right? There's consciousness. The soul is pervading inside the body, entire body. Nobody can destroy the soul. Yes. And this soul is indestructible, but body is destructible. Right? So therefore, there is no killing that's happening. You are saying, I will kill my grandfather, I will kill my teacher. Whom are you killing? Nothing. Your grandfather is intact. You are and your teacher is intact, because they are the soul, they are not the body. Then the soul is never born nor dies. So nobody can kill the soul. Then how, after knowing this knowledge, how can anybody kill anyone? It's just like, you change your dress in the evening, every day evening. I just change my dress. It becomes like in the evening, I just change my dress. So just like that, body is changed. That's it. Why are you lamenting for that change? Nothing. That soul is invisible. You can't see it. You cannot understand it. It's inconceivable. Nobody can explain about the soul except for Krishna. So this is called the soul. Our real identity is that we are the soul. We are not the body. Right? So he says, okay, even let us say, if you think that, okay, you are the body, let's consider for some time there is no soul, no problem. Even then, we all know that everybody has to die. And everybody, whoever dies, has to be born. Then why are you lamenting? Do your duty, no? Why are you bothered about? Why are you saying you will not do your duty? Just do your duty. You are a warrior, you are a Kshatriya. Your duty is to fight the war lawfully and protect the citizens on the side of Dharma. So you must discharge your duties. Right? So this soul cannot be killed. Don't grieve for the soul. Just do your duty as Kshatriya. Because these kind of opportunities don't come. It's very, very rare somebody gets this opportunity. You are very lucky. You are getting an opportunity to fight. And if you die in this war also, it's good. If you win also, it's good. Right? And if you win, you will get the kingdom. Enjoy. If you lose, that means you will die. You will not run away, right? Only cowards run away from war. You will not run away. That means you will die. That's also not good. Then you will get the heavenly planets. Because the Kshatriya who dies in the war gets heavenly planets. So both ways it's good. But you are proposing that you will not fight. So by not fighting, you are definitely going to get sin. Because by neglecting our duty, we become sinful. And not only that, your reputation as Arjuna is gone. Nobody will praise Arjuna. They will all joke about Arjuna. Everybody will take you as a bad example. And they will all shame you like anything, especially your enemies. And for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. We should always keep our honor high. Right? And they will, all the generals, they will think that you are a coward and you ran away because you are scared of death. And they will talk very badly about you. What can be more painful than that? So it's okay. Even if you die, go to heavenly planets, it's a good deal. Even if you're winning, you get your kingdom back, it's a good deal. So get up and fight. Just fight for the sake of fighting because it's your duty. Don't think about loss, gain, victory, defeat. With this attitude, you'll never get any sin. Right? Now I have explained to you what is called as the Sankhya philosophy. Let me explain you what is the karma or buddhi yoga or working without fruitive activities. Karma yoga philosophy. So far Krishna explained about analytical study of the soul and the body, matter and spirit. Right? Now Krishna is going to explain about buddhi yoga, karma yoga or Krishna consciousness. Krishna is saying, anybody who does a little bit of Krishna consciousness also, even little bit also, there's no loss for that activity. And that small activity can protect him from the greatest type of fear in life. And those who are Krishna conscious, they are resolute in their purpose. Those who are not Krishna conscious, their mind is not focused. They are, very confused. They have everything in their mind. And actually, those people who are attracted by the flowery words of the Vedas, who want to go to the heavenly planets, right? They are less intelligent because their mind is getting too much attached to the sense enjoyment. Because Vedas are saying, if you do this kind of fire sacrifices, you will go to these heavenly planets and enjoy so much of sense enjoyment. But actually, this is not the purpose of the Vedas. The Vedas are in three modes of material nature, that is, in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. But you must rise above that. Don't be stuck to the one of these modes. Right? The purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna consciousness. The purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. And if you understand Krishna and serve Krishna, whatever you are going to get benefit by doing all the other activities, it's much more than that. The example is, you know, just like if you have a small wells, you'll get some benefit out of the small wells. But if you have a big reservoir of water, you'll get the benefit of the small well also, isn't it? Just like in the Vedas, there are so many rituals given, so many different kinds of worship given, so many different kinds of austerities that are given. By following, they are like small wells. But Krishna consciousness is like a reservoir of water. So if you have a reservoir of water, all small wells are also covered inside it. So you have a right to perform your duty, but don't demand result for it. And don't think that you are the cause for it, because you are not the cause. You are not the only cause. There are 5 causes which will be explained later. Actually, one of the first causes is the modes of material nature. So never get attached to not doing your duty also. So don't worry about the result of this war. Just perform your duty as a kshatriya. And don't think that you are the cause for it. And don't think that, because of you, all this war is happening, or because of you, something is happening. Because of you, somebody died. No, it's not you. And never give up your duty, because giving up your duty means sin. Perform your duty equipoised and abandon attachment to success or failure, right? Don't think about whether I'll be successful, failure. Just be balanced, neutral. This is called as yoga. And keep away from all the abominable activities, right? And surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you don't surrender the results of your work to me, then those people who don't do that, who try to enjoy the fruits without giving to Krishna, they're called as misers. That means whatever activity that we are doing, every activity that we do in our life, we incur karma. That karma, we are supposed to be giving it to Krishna. If we don't give to Krishna, Krishna says that we are a miser. But an intelligent person who is engaging in devotional service gets rid of this karma at the end of the life. By engaging in devotional service, he becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. But that means he becomes liberated by worshipping Krishna. So, when all your intelligence has passed out of the delusion, right now your mind is in delusion. You are thinking that this is correct, this is what is right. Just like, a lot of people think, oh, this is what I think. I don't care what it is written in Bhagavad Gita. This is what I think. This is my life. So that is called delusion. So you are coming to your conclusion, that is delusion. But when you come out of this delusion or moha, then you'll become very neutral. You'll just not care about anything in the world. Whatever you've heard in the past also, whatever you hear in the future also, you'll not worry. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. So don't get disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, because Arjuna is saying, oh, what will happen to my ancestors? I've heard that if you don't give oblations to my ancestors, I'll have to go to hell. So this is all the flowery language of the Vedas. Don't get disturbed by that. No, come to the main point of the Vedas. That's the self-realization, Krishna consciousness, right? That's the main point of it. Don't get disturbed by this flowery language of the Vedas, right? Then he says, okay, Arjuna is asking, how does this person look? How does a person who is in full transcendence, steady intelligence, Chitta Prajna, how does he look? How does he walk? How does he talk? Krishna is saying, this yogi or the transcendentalist or the devotee is a person who will not have any kind of desires, right? And his mind is very pure, right? And he's able to tolerate. He doesn't get disturbed. When there is a disturbing condition in our life also, the man with steady intelligence is very steady. It doesn't get affected by ups and downs of life. And he can withdraw his senses, just like a tortoise withdraws its limbs, right? this very transcendental person can withdraw. Whenever he wants, he will withdraw the senses inwards. Whenever he wants to enjoy or use something, his senses, he will bring them out. So that is means senses are in his control. He is not in the control of the senses. So these senses are very, very strong. Be careful. They can carry away mind of a very, very strong person also. Therefore, restrain your senses and restrain your mind and put it on me in Krishna consciousness. Then you will be called a man of steady intelligence. Actually, what happens is, if we start contemplating on something, just like I want to buy something, okay? I just go to Amazon and I just start seeing that, you see, a mobile phone. By repeatedly watching the advertisement again and again, it becomes an attachment. The attachment becomes lust. And from lust, it becomes anger. If I don't get that, I'll become angry. Oh, where is mine? I want it. And the next stage of anger is delusion, right? So this is the stages that even Arjuna is going through, right? He's looking at all these relatives and, he's becoming very, very lusty, angry now that, I cannot imagine that, these people will die. Either they have to die or I have to die. No, I don't want this situation. No, this is what is Krishna is warning him. Be careful, you are under that route. So after delusion, memory will be gone. Intelligence will be gone. Then one falls down into the material pool. So, but a person who is free from the attachment, then he can obtain complete mercy of the Lord. And in full Krishna consciousness, for such a person, he will not have any kind of miseries, any kind of difficulties. Nothing will be there for a person who is in full Krishna consciousness. And on the other hand, if somebody is not Krishna conscious, for such a person, there cannot be any intelligence. He is not intelligent. Krishna says at various places in Bhagavad Gita that a devotee is very intelligent. A person who follows Krishna is very intelligent because he's giving a logical argument. And if we are not logical and if we fail to catch Krishna's argument, then such a person, Krishna is saying, is a fool. Such a person cannot have a steady mind. And without steady mind, how can there be peace? And without peace, how can there be happiness? If you want to be happy, your mind must be very peaceful, or else you can't be happy, right? So this mind is very strong. It can just carry away the senses of our mind is so powerful. But if you can restrain your senses with the help of mind, then that is called a steady intelligence, right? And the sages or the transcendentalists, they are very different. All the materialistic people, they will act in certain way. The transcendentalists act in a certain way. That is, when the materialistic person is working very hard, the transcendentalist is working very hard for liberation, right? And the materialist person is taking the liberation very lightly, and the transcendentalist is taking it very seriously, right? So whatever is day for the materialist is night for the transcendentalist. Whatever is day for transcendentalist, it is a night for the materialist. So they are like two opposite people. One is about to be liberated, one is about to be bonded, right? Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha. Eternal, one is going to get freedom, one is going to be bonded. This is the difference between Krishna is comparing directly. So this personality who is transcendentalist, who is not like a materialistic person, spiritual person, he is completely free of sense gratification. He gives up all desires and he only can get peace of mind. And if somebody is able to maintain this state of mind at the time of death, then he will come back to me. So Krishna continues in the third chapter, Karma Yoga. Now Arjuna is asking, okay, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And you're saying that a spiritual person is giving up all sense gratification desires. That's what I am also saying. You are also saying the same thing, that don't be a materialistic person. Don't go behind materialistic pursuit. That's what I am saying. I want to give up everything. I want to beg. Then why are you telling me to work, and you are engaging me in this sinful activity also. You only said that knowledge is better, but then why are you now saying work is better? Says, I'm confused. Explain. Krishna said, see, I've already told you that two type of people who are trying to get liberated. Two type of transcendentalists. One is the Jnana Yogi, who is trying to get liberated with empirical knowledge. Another is a Bhakti Yogi. That is, through devotional service, one is trying to become liberated. So, let me tell you what is the drawback of merely taking dry speculative knowledge and not engaging in Krishna consciousness. Simply giving up work and going to a forest, one cannot become liberated. You know why? Because even if you give up everything, the modes of material nature are acting. So you may change your dress from a colorful dress to a saffron dress, but that will make no difference because the mind is the same, right? The material nature is acting on the mind, and our mind will dwell on the sense objects. And naturally, even though this person is wearing a saffron dress, he is thinking about the worldly things. I mean, he is given up everything and he is thinking about accumulating property, having some sensual pleasures, satisfying his tongue. Like that, he's thinking. So, better than such a kind of a hypocrite is a normal person who is performing his duty sincerely. He is better because he's sincerely doing his duty and he's doing it for the sake of Krishna. This is called as sacrifice. Any activity that is done for the satisfaction of Krishna is called as sacrifice. So, work should be performed as a sacrifice for Vishnu. If you do work like that, there is no bondage. See, your main concern is that you are going to become sinful. But I am giving you a solution. You simply work as a sacrifice for me. Then there is no bondage. Then you can be free from bondage. Actually, the purpose of all this fire sacrifices is that there are so many administrators who run this universe. And there is one supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And this Lord Krishna, from his various expansions, all the devatas come. So the devatas are the administrators of this universe. So Krishna has created these devatas, and he has created the process of yajna. And he told in the material world, he has given us the Vedas. And he said, okay, here is yajna, here is the devatas, here is the jiva. That is the normal people. So all the ordinary living entities, let them do fire sacrifices for the devatas, and the devatas will become happy by taking these fire sacrifice offerings, and they will give them boons, and the human beings will be happy materialistically. So this is the cycle that has been given. But a person who doesn't follow this cycle of offering to the demigods is actually called as a thief, because he's taking all the natural resources from the nature, like sunlight, air is there, fire is there. He's taking everything, but he's not returning anything back to the devatas. Therefore, such a person is a thief. But the devotees are the opposite of such kind of thieves, because they are eating food which is offered to sacrifice. That is offered to Krishna only, they will eat. Right? So, but those people who are eating food for their own enjoyment, they are just simply eating karma, that is sin, because the sin is there inside the food, right? So, but if you offer the food to Krishna, that sin will be gone in that food, right? Actually, living entities are subsisting on grains, right? And from where does this grain come? The grain comes from agriculture. And how does agriculture grow? Because of the rains. How does the rain come? Rain comes if you only do fire sacrifice, right? So if you don't do fire sacrifice, what happens is the rains will not fall. There won't be any rains, and consequently there won't be any grains. And how can there be happiness? Therefore, any person who does not follow this cycle of sacrifice is leading a life of sin. right? Because he's only living for the satisfaction of his senses, right? That's not good. But the thing is, the other kind of person is a devotee or a transcendentalist or a self-realized purpose, self-realized soul. He, his life, he is fully satiated. He doesn't need anything. So there are two type of people. Liberated people, they're not interested in anything. They don't want to pursue anything. He has no purpose at all, right? Because he has not got anything to achieve. He's happy within himself, right? Therefore, Krishna is saying, therefore, as a matter of duty, work without attachment. In that way, you can attain the supreme. So I will tell you an example of a king also who did like that. There were some great kings in the past who have done like that. You know, the best example is the father of Sita Devi, Janaka Maharaj. And there were so many other saintly kings who have followed this process, which I have explained, the cycle of sacrifice, and they were satisfying me by offering the sacrifices and worked without attachment, and they fixed their mind upon me and they were liberated. Therefore, you must understand that you are a very important person in the society. Everybody looks up to you. And if you do a pathetic act like running away from the war, then everybody will follow you. Because whatever a great leader does, everyone follows. So, see, just look at me. I don't have any activity to do. So, Krishna is saying that Krishna has got nothing to do. But still, I am doing my duty. I am doing my duty. My duty is, I have come here. I have taken, I'm coming as an incarnation, right? Every millennium after millennium, I'm coming after is an incarnation. And I'm doing my duty as a Kshatriya. Right now, I'm doing my Kshatriya duty and I'm helping you people to fight the war. Right? So I'm doing my duty. Actually, I've got nothing to do. I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because if I don't do my work, everybody will follow me. And everybody would stop working. If everybody would stop working, then there will be unwanted population and there will be destruction. Actually, ignorant people, we cannot give them knowledge. So therefore, we should simply encourage them to work. Because if you simply tell them don't work, he'll rebel. He'll say you are mad. That's why we should just simply encourage them to work. But they should work without attachment. So therefore, you must lead such unintelligent people who don't understand anything other than working. Right? Don't disrupt such people. Just act as a leader and show how to live. So actually, a spirit soul thinks that he is the doer, but that is delusion. The activity is carried out by the three modes of material nature. See, is mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. We get this mode of goodness and passion and ignorance, and because of that, we are acting, not simply. So, you must understand this knowledge, and anybody who is knowledge, who has the knowledge of the absolute truth, right, and who does not engage in sense gratification, knows this. What is karma, what is akarma, and what is vikarma. He understands that. So, what is that karma, karma, vikarma? Karma means duty, as given in the Vedas, the prescribed duties, what I must be doing. Vikarma means sinful activity, what I must not be doing. Akarma means acting in Krishna consciousness. I am doing my duty and giving it for Krishna without any attachment. That is akarma. So only people who know the absolute truth, only they understand this. People don't know. But the ignorant people, what do? They're simply doing work after work after work after work, just motivated by the modes of material nature, and they become attached. But the wise should not disturb them. Therefore, surrender your works to me, right? And become free from laziness and fight. And those people who act according to my injunctions, they become free from all the bondage of fruitive actions. That is, all the karma gets eliminated by simply following the instructions of Krishna. But those people who disregard my teachings, they become ruined and they become completely befooled and they will never attain liberation. So, Don't try to artificially repress your senses, because your body is controlled by the nature, three modes of material nature. You are born with certain kind of nature. Therefore, just follow the varna ashrama dharma. That is, follow your prescribed duties, which are verily created by me. Even if you do faultily also, it's okay. It's better than giving up entirely. Don't give up your prescribed duties, right? So, because even getting destroyed for destruction in performing one's duty is better than simply living and doing others' duty, because that's very, very dangerous, because it will cause a lot of sin. Then Arjuna asks, "Oh Krishna, why do people do sinful activities? And they act as if, that somebody is forcing them. Just like how I see this Duryodhana is engaged in such a sinful activity. Why is he acting like this?" Krishna said, "You know what? The reason for sin is lust. Kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhava. This lust is actually the main enemy of the humankind. It transforms into anger, right? And it actually, this lust is covering our self-realization, our knowledge. By default, like every living entity is full of knowledge, supposed to be. But the lust has covered every living entity in the form of the senses, mind, and the intelligence. That is where the lust sits. So therefore, Arjuna, curb this lust first. You just cut off your lust that you want to enjoy. You want to enjoy by not fighting, or you want to enjoy by fighting. Both are wrong. You should stop your mentality to enjoy and just perform your duty, right? So by knowing this, that you are transcendental to the senses and intelligence, right, you will be able to conquer this lust, which is an enemy. Krishna started the chapter of transcendental knowledge. And Krishna said, "This is not the first time I am telling this knowledge to you. I have instructed this knowledge in the past to Vivaswan, sun god. And sun god gave it to Manu. And the chain of disciplic succession, this knowledge was going on. But it got lost in between, this science of yoga. That is why I am teaching you now." Arjuna said, "How is it possible? Sun god is so senior. Sun was born long, long ago. But you are born just along with me, same age as mine. How is it possible?" Krishna said, "You have taken many births, and I have taken many births. But I remember all my births. But you cannot. My body is transcendental. It never deteriorates. Right? I appear in my original transcendental form. And the purpose of my appearance is not because of karma. My purpose of appearance is duty. I have a duty. What's my duty? Whenever there is a decline in religious practice and predominant rise of irreligion, I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principles of religion. I appear millennium after millennium. And understand my nature of my, whoever understands this transcendental nature of mine, that I am divine, my birth is divine, he will never take birth again in the material world again, and he'll come back to my abode. So actually, in the past, many people have followed my advice, and they have taken shelter of me, and they have all attained the transcendental love for me. And however people surrender to me, I reward to them accordingly. To the degree do they surrender, to that degree I serve them. Actually, people follow me only. Everyone follows me, right? Actually, the people who are worshipping the devatas, they want quick results. So therefore, they get the results quickly by worshipping the devatas. But according to the three modes of material nature, this varnashrama system has been created. Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, Grihastha, Sannyasi, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I have created this system. But even though I have created it, I am not the doer for it. Actually, there's no work that can affect me. I am not affected by karma. Living entities are affected by karma. I don't need anything actually. And all the liberated people have acted with this understanding of me. Therefore, perform your duty with this knowledge that it is me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is instructing you to fight. Right? And even the most intelligent people, they cannot understand what is the action and what is inaction. I will explain you what is action and inaction, because it's very difficult to understand what is action and inaction. People think when the Vedas say stop the action, they think that I must just halt my action. That is like, I should just sit down, I should stop going to office and I just should sit. No, that's not inaction. Inaction, which is explained, is inaction means Krishna consciousness. Whatever activity that you're doing, if you do it for the sake of Krishna, that is inaction. That will not cause any karma. But whatever action that you're doing, even if it is just stopping your, if you're doing opposite, that is, what is Krishna saying? Even if you fight, do your duty in Krishna consciousness, there is no sin. But on the other hand, if you stop fighting, that is, you stopped your religious duty or the prescribed duty out of attachment, and you're simply sitting lethargically, then you will actually incur sin. This is so opposite, isn't it? Because usually what we think, if we give up everything, no sin. No work, no sin. If I work, there is sin. It's the opposite. Krishna is saying, no, you have to work in Krishna consciousness. That is the correct attitude. Not simply giving up and sitting idle. That's wrong. So a person who understands this gives up the attachment to the results and performs his duties. Such a person is not affected by sin, right? So, such a kind of a person is fully situated in the transcendental knowledge. He merges into transcendence, right? And he will certainly attain the spiritual kingdom because he is doing spiritual activities, Krishna conscious activities, right? Now I am going to explain you different kinds of yajnas, fire sacrifices. Some people, some yogis worship the devatas by offering different kinds of fire sacrifice. Some do for the Supreme Brahman, that is the impersonalist. And the brahmacharis, what they are doing, they are hearing the Vedic knowledge, they are hearing with their ears. What about the grihasthas? The grihasthas are sacrificing the object of senses in the fire of senses. That is, they are enjoying. Brahmacharis are restraining sensual activities. The grihasthas, they are engaged in sensual activities, but in a regulated way for the sake of producing religious Krishna conscious children. So that is also a fire sacrifice. I mean, being religious and a householder, that is also good. And there are some people who try to control their mind and senses, right? With the help of yoga system and pranayama system. That is one kind of yagya. And some of them, what they do strict austerities, like, fasting on certain days of the month, certain religious fasts that they perform, or they perform the Ashtanga yoga, or they read Vedas to get transcendental knowledge like the Upanishadic literature, etc. And some of them, they practice yoga in samadhi by restraining their breath, right? So these are the different kinds of sacrifices. And anybody who understands the actual meaning of sacrifice, they become cleansed of sins. So that is the purpose of this sacrifice, is for purification. And once we become purified, then we become eligible to go back to Godhead. And if somebody neglects these sacrifices, he cannot live happily in this world or in the next world also. And all these the sacrifices are given in the Vedas. And simply by knowing this, one can become liberated. See, the purpose of knowing all these sacrifices, the result of doing this fire sacrifice or Ashtanga yoga system, worshipping the devatas, ultimately the purpose is to know transcendental knowledge. It's not that we become attached to the worship of the devatas or become attached to performing the yoga asana or pranayama. No. The result of all these activities is transcendental knowledge. The transcendental knowledge is to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, to understand that I am the living entity, I am not the body, to understand that we have to surrender to Krishna to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So this is the culmination of all the different kind of religious activities that are given in the Sanatana Dharma. Right? Just by simply knowing this transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Right? This knowledge is so powerful, right? To know about the transcendental reason for the birth and transcendental reason for the activities of Krishna, that no work binds him. To know this knowledge, this kind of knowledge is so powerful. Krishna conscious knowledge can burn all the reactions to material activities to ashes. How much ever karma we have, that will be gone. There's nothing as pure as this Krishna conscious knowledge. And it is the mature fruit of yoga. The purpose of yoga is to get this transcendental knowledge. And then such a person will attain spiritual peace. Right? But if somebody is ignorant and faithless, and if somebody doubts this revealed scriptures that I have given, they will not attain Krishna consciousness. They will not attain God consciousness, and they fall down, because doubting person is never happy, neither in this world nor in the next world. But the one who is doing devotional service, he is not bound by any reactions of work. Therefore, with this weapon of knowledge of Krishna consciousness, just slash all the doubts that have arisen in your heart. Get up and fight. So Krishna is continuing in Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Now Arjuna is still confused. Krishna, I just don't get it. You are telling me to renounce work. Just now you told me that, a person renounces work. A person who is in transcendental knowledge, he doesn't get any kind of karma. And then now you are telling me work for me, work in devotion. Please tell me which one is better. I'm not able to make it up. Should I completely renounce or work in your consciousness? He says both are good. Even if you renounce in knowledge, that's also good. And if you work in devotion, that's also good for liberation. But out of two, working in devotional service is better than renunciation. Right? And actually, the real meaning of renunciation is not hating nor desiring our karma. So I don't want something, nor I hate whatever is happening to me. I just am neutral. So such a person is called renounced, not the person who is simply sitting idle. That is not renunciation. Actually, only ignorant people think that this Krishna consciousness or bhakti yoga or karma yoga and the study of the Sankhya philosophy is different. Actually, both of them are leading to the same thing, okay? If you go through this empirical knowledge which is given in the Upanishads, you will start analyzing and understanding that we are not a matter. We understand we are spiritual beings. And then we understand that there is a source for all these spiritual beings, and that supreme spirit soul is Krishna. And once we understand that, we will start worshipping him. Or if we directly, or if we are working for the sake of Krishna, we try to please him. That is also direct process. So both are actually finally culminating at the same point, that is worshipping Krishna. So merely renouncing activities cannot give happiness. The reason why Krishna is saying that working in devotion is better than renouncing is because simply renouncing doesn't give happiness. But person, if you engage in devotional service, that gives happiness. So therefore, it is better that a person remains and does his prescribed duties, whatever are there, in bhakti, in Krishna consciousness. Such a way he can be very happy in life and go back to Godhead also at the end of the life. But a person who has given up his duties out of false attachment and not engaging in bhakti is simply going to be bound and he's also going to incur sin and he's going to suffer also. So he'll never be happy in this lifetime or in the next lifetime. But a person who is in a pure divine consciousness, whatever activity he may be doing, he's actually doing nothing, right? Because he's completely in transcendental consciousness. A bhakta, a devotee is doing so many activities. He may be like, doing just like ordinary activities, ordinary fruitive worker, he may appear like that. But a devotee is working for the sake of Krishna. He's doing it in transcendental consciousness. Therefore, he's not accumulating any kind of karma. Therefore, those who perform duty without attachment, they will not get the sin. Just like a lotus leaf, right? Waterproof. Waterproof, if you put some water, the water will glide away. Just like this person who is in Krishna consciousness is a waterproof. It's just like, wearing a raincoat and going inside the rain. He will not get wet, right? But the other person who is not wearing a raincoat, he's wearing a cotton cloth, he will become completely wet in the rain. So the yogis perform only for the purpose of purification. They act, right? And they attain unadulterated peace. But the person who is very greedy for the fruits of his action, who is not ready to give the fruits of action to Krishna, such a person becomes entangled in this material world, right? So what we have to do is we have to engage in Krishna consciousness, right? So when one's mind, intelligence, and refuge are fixed in the Supreme, then their complete misgivings, clarity, confusion, everything is gone. Confusion is gone, and they're straight, they are proceeding towards liberation. Actually, a person who is very knowledgeable, he doesn't differentiate that, oh, he's a Brahmana, oh, he's a dog eater, oh, this is a cow, oh, this is a dog, like that. Cow is very sacred in the Vedas. Dog is the most fallen animal in the Vedas. So they don't differentiate because the dog also has the soul. Even the cow also has a soul. Brahmana also has a soul. And the dog eater also has a soul. And even super soul is also there. So the spiritual knowledge is required. That is called real knowledge, not PhDs or postdoctorates. That's not real knowledge. Equanimity, looking at all the living entities equally. This is called real knowledge, right? Not just differentiating that human beings are all equal, gender equality. No, not at this level. It's saying that even human beings and animals are also equal. This is the real equality. This is the correct equality. So such people, they are like Brahman because they are already situated in Brahman, who are able to see this kind of vision, equal vision. So the liberated person never gets attracted to material sense pleasures because the materialistic pleasures, they cause suffering. Just like if I indulge in some materialistic pleasure, it is momentary pleasure. It's very, very interesting in the beginning. It's very sweet in the beginning, like nectar, but in the end, it's poison. It becomes so embarrassing to bear the consequences of these pleasures. Therefore, wise people, they stay away from sense enjoyment. So he's saying a real mystic is one who is able to enjoy happiness from within. So that person will be liberated and he will attain the Supreme, right? Who is able to tolerate the dualities of this life and who doesn't get angry and who is free from the material desires, right? And he's able to completely control his mind. He's able to close his eyes and he's able to meditate upon the Supreme. Such meditating yogi is definitely going to be liberated, right? And a person in the full consciousness of me, understanding me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he attains the peace from the pangs of material miseries. So this is a very important verse where Krishna is saying that whatever sacrifice that we do, see, if you do the worship of the Devatas also, or if you are doing some kind of any kind of fasting, or if you are doing some kind of meditation practice, or if you are doing some kind of asanas, or if you are doing some kind of mind control, or if you are doing some kind of Vedic studies, any kind of fire sacrifice, the enjoyer is Krishna. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. He is the ultimate beneficiary for all these sacrifices and austerities. So once we know this, that he is the supreme lord of all the planets, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, not only material worlds, for the spiritual world also Krishna is the supreme lord. Simply by knowing this, we'll attain peace of mind. Right? The 6th chapter of Krishna is saying, Dhyana Yoga is that one who is unattached to the fruits of his work, who works just for as a duty. Such a person is a real mystic and a real yogi and a real sannyasi, not the person who performs no duty. That means, simply if I act like a great sannyasi and I give up everything and I am not engaging my mind in Krishna consciousness, then he is not a sannyasi, he is not even a yogi, but simply a normal person is doing his activities, household activities very nicely, perfectly, and offering it to Krishna. That is a sannyasi. That is a yogi. That is the yoga system. Now Krishna starts talking about the yoga system. Yoga system, one has to control his mind, because mind is our enemy. Mind is our best friend. If you make friendship with your mind, it becomes your best friend. If you do not take care of your mind properly, it becomes your enemy, right? And if you are able to conquer your mind, you've already attained the super soul and you can attain tranquility, and you will be able to tolerate, all the dualities. If somebody praises you or criticizes you, you will be the same, right? This is called mind control, right? And a very advanced person, what he is able to do, he sees everything equally. He will see the gold also and some metal also as the same. He will say, okay, what's the difference here? Okay, you're saying that this is gold and you're saying this is iron. They're both metals. This is also metal, this is also metal. What's the difference? And you're bringing some kind of a stone and say, this is a precious stone, diamond. And you're bringing, I'll bring some stone on the street. It's actually the same. I don't see any difference. So that is called a self-realized yogi. And if you further advanced person, he sees his friends and enemies also as equal. It doesn't make, oh, this is my friend. Oh, here is my friend coming. Hi, how are you? Here is my enemy. I hate him. I hate him. So an advanced yogi, he doesn't make any difference. He sees everybody equally, even the sinners and the pious people also. Right? That's the greatness. So how to do this yoga system? Krishna is explaining. Go to a secluded place and control your mind from desires, and sit on a deer cloth and put a kusha grass and make a nice seat and make your back erect, right? And control your mind, subdue your mind, and meditate upon Krishna, right? And make Krishna the ultimate goal of life. By doing this, he attains to the kingdom of God. Actually, if we cannot control our eating and sleeping habits, we can never become a yogi. We should not eat too much, eat too less. Nor should we sleep too much or sleep too less. Everything should be balanced. That's called yoga system. So it's like the discipline of our mental activities. So just like, a lamp, when there is no wind, it will be just standing straight. If there is wind, it will be shaking. So like that, a yogi is able to control his mind, just like without wind, how that lamp is standing straight like that. Right? This is called as samadhi, when the mind is in full control from the material mental activities. So in this joyous state, we get so much of happiness in the state of samadhi. And even if great difficulty comes also, a person or a yogi never gets shaken from his position. Therefore, we must practice this yoga system and abandon material desires. And step by step, we should attain the samadhi state, right? Because the mind is so flickering and so strong, so difficult to control it. So wherever the mind goes, catch it and bring it, right? By doing this, the yogi attains the highest perfection of life. And he is very happy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And the yogi is able to see Krishna in everybody. and he sees everybody inside Krishna. That is called true yogi, who is purely self-realized. And for such a person who is able to see me in everyone, I am not lost to him, nor he is lost to him, me. That means he always remembers me, I always remember him. We both remember each other. So then Arjuna says, "Oh Krishna, the system of yoga which you have given me, I think I cannot do it. It's just too much for me. My mind, I know very well, is just so restless and unsteady, and it's so strong." Then Krishna says, yes, absolutely. Mind is very difficult, but by practice and detachment, we can bring it to control. Right? For a person whose mind is not in control, self-realization is very difficult for him. But for the one who is able to control it, self-realization is very easy. Okay, Krishna, fine. You're talking about this self-realization, spirituality, fine. Now tell me what will happen to me if I'm not successful, like the way you are explaining. I'm not able to attain to that level of perfection, and I leave my body. I'm unsuccessful yogi. What happens to me? Neither I'll be materialistically successful, nor I'm spiritually successful. I'm lost. Please tell me what happens to such a person. Krishna says, anybody who engages in auspicious activity, he will never get any destruction in this world or in the spiritual. Because a person who does good is never overcome by evil. So this Krishna consciousness process is so perfect. Let's say a person is unsuccessful yogi. He has done some Krishna consciousness. He tried to meditate upon the Supreme, work for the Supreme. He tried a little bit, thoda bahut kiya bas. And he died. No loss. He'll be again born in a nice family of righteous people. He'll be born in a family of rich aristocracy. At least he doesn't have to, worry about his daily bread. He'll be born with a silver spoon in the mouth. He's born in a rich family, and then he will start thinking, what should I do now? I'm so rich. I've got everything in world. What is it that I don't have? And then he will continue his transcendental journey, spiritual journey. And if someone is unsuccessful after a long time of yoga practice, then he will be born in the family of transcendentalists. That is, he'll be born in the family of devotees. That birth is very, very rare. And then he will further make progress from there. So it's like, you resume your journey exactly where you left. It doesn't restart from beginning. Just like if you do PhD and if somebody dies and if he's born in the next life, he has to start from LKG only, nursery, kindergarten. But Krishna consciousness is something that exactly resumes from the place where you left in the last lifetime. So you are actually able to do Krishna consciousness because you left it at some point and you continue it from there, right? So this, he remembers what has happened in the previous life, and then he continues, and he stands above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. See, the scriptures, there are some ritualistic parts. Krishna is discouraging that. That ritualistic parts are meant for us to come to the spiritual part of it. That's Bhagavad Gita. That's Krishna consciousness. We should not get stuck in the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. So then such a person will resume and he'll give up. He's not interested in the ritualistic principles. And then he will very seriously and sincerely, without wasting any time, he will wash all his contaminations, which are stopping him from becoming the perfection, getting perfection. And ultimately, after many, many births of practice like that, he will attain the Krishna. He'll attain supreme goal. So that is the position of a yogi. A yogi is better than a tapasvi. He's better than a jnani. He's better than a karmi. Therefore, Arjuna always try to be a yogi. Right? And among all different types of yogis, who is the best yogi? The best yogi is the one who is always thinking of me in loving devotional service is rendering. That is the highest yogi. That is, he's saying Bhakti yogi is the topmost yogi. So we should try to be a bhakti yogi, because Krishna is saying it's the best. We'll do this chapter. Knowledge of the absolute. Krishna is saying, just listen to me, how to follow this Krishna consciousness. Just now he said that bhakti yoga is the best. Now he's going to explain about bhakti yoga. How to be a bhakti yogi. To become bhakti yogi, first of all, you should do bhakti to Krishna. To do bhakti to Krishna, you should know who is Krishna. To know who is Krishna, you should hear from Krishna. There is no other way to understand about Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is saying, let me tell you something. I am going to tell you that knowledge, after hearing which there'll be nothing else to know. So this is like, this is the culmination of knowledge. Actually, not everybody is able to understand me, because among thousands of people, only few people or one tries for perfection. And among those who have already attained perfection also, hardly one knows me in truth. That is to say, nobody knows Krishna. Even the self-realized people don't know Krishna. We can understand about Krishna only by hearing from Krishna. Krishna is saying, all this earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, false ego, that is the 8 elements, right? The 5 great elements and the 3 subtle elements, they are all my external energy. This is all energy of Krishna. Whatever you are seeing around you, it's energy of Krishna. And he's saying there is another energy of mine, that is living entities. That is the soul, Atma of every living entity is the superior energy of Krishna. The superior energy of Krishna is trying to exploit the inferior energy of Krishna. That is, the soul tries to exploit the matter. Just like how human beings try to exploit Mother Earth, right? By taking petrol and different kinds of resources. Like that, the soul or the superior energy of Krishna is trying to exploit the inferior energy of Krishna. These are the 2 energies of Krishna. Actually, Krishna has got innumerable energies, out of which 3 are prominent. Krishna spoke about 2 of them. One is external energy, material world, and better than that is the Tatastha Shakti or marginal energy, that is us, living entities. And then he's saying there is something called as material and spiritual. And for both matter and spirit, I am the origin and dissolution. And actually, there is no truth superior to Krishna. Everything rests upon Krishna. Just like how pearls are there in a necklace of pearls, there is a string that strings together all these pearls. Like that, Krishna is like that string. The string is not visible, but that is what is holding all the pearls. When the string is gone, the pearls are gone. This entire material world looks like an existential reality because of Krishna. And who is Krishna? He's saying, I am the taste of the water. Everybody has experience of drinking water. Water is so tasty, especially when you're thirsty. When you drink water next time, remember Krishna. He's saying, I am the light of the sun and the moon. Of all the lights which are very luminous, sun is the most prominent one in the material world. That light is Krishna. Saying, I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. And I am the sound in the ether and ability in man. We see so many great personalities, so many great sportsmen, so many great artists, right? So many different kind of professionals whom we look up to and we really like them so much, celebrities. Krishna is saying, I am that ability in him. So the ability of your favorite celebrity or favorite sportsman or your favorite personality is Krishna. He's saying, I am the fragrance of water or fragrance of the earth. The heat of the fire is hot. That's because of Krishna. It's Krishna's energy. I am the life of all that lives. If there is something that is living, that life is Krishna. And the penance of the ascetics, Krishna is the original seed of all the existence. He is the intelligence of the intelligent. And he is the prowess of all powerful men. He is the strength of the strong. And he is the sex life, which is not contrary to the religious principles. So Krishna is saying, even sex life also is allowed. It's like, The householders are allowed to have sex, but under certain regulations, which is not contrary to the religious principles, right? But not in an unrestrained way, but for the sake of getting Krishna conscious children, because that is considered to be religious. Krishna is saying that is allowed. And all the three modes of material nature, whether it is mode of passion or goodness or ignorance, they are all my energy. I am everything, but still independent. I mean, Krishna is everything, but that doesn't mean that everything is Krishna. That we have to be understand. So I'm saying that everything is Krishna. So, this laptop is Krishna, or this chair upon which I kept this laptop is Krishna, but that doesn't mean that this chair itself is Krishna. Krishna is still again independent of this. It is Krishna's energy. And these modes of material nature do not affect Krishna. We are affected.
काय करायचं
We are affected by the modes of material nature, right? And he's saying that every living entity is deluded by these three modes of material nature: Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. And that's why we are not able to know Krishna. The whole world does not know me. Nobody knows Krishna. Krishna is above these gunas, right? And how to conquer these three modes of material nature? It's so powerful. Only those who have surrendered to Krishna can conquer this material nature's energies called as Maya. And those people who are very foolish, they do not surrender to Krishna. And those people who are very intelligent, they surrender to Krishna. Just like those people who are in distress, they surrender to Krishna. Those people who want some money, they also surrender to Krishna. Those people who are inquisitive to know about the absolute truth, they surrender to Krishna. Those people who are searching for the knowledge of the absolute, they surrender to Krishna. Among all these type of people, the person in full knowledge of Krishna, he is the best. One who knows Krishna Tattva, he is the best, because Krishna is very dear to him and he is very dear to Krishna. And he's saying, among all the devotees, the one in the knowledge of Krishna Tattva, he is very important. He is the best. And after many, many births, he who is in full knowledge surrenders to Krishna, knowing that he is the cause of all causes. Such a great soul is very, very rare, because it's very, very rare to surrender to Krishna. To understand that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead is very, very rare position. Such a person is called as a great soul. But actually, people are not able to understand this. Not everybody is at the level of Mahatma. On the contrary, those people who are worshipping or surrendering to the Devatas, Devi Devatas, Krishna is saying they are doing so because their intelligence has been stolen by the material desires. Because they are not interested in transcendental love of Krishna. They are not interested in liberation from the cycle of birth and death. All they want is very quick result. Therefore, they will worship the demigods and they follow all the rules and regulations of the worship. And Krishna is saying, okay, that's all right, because I am sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and I understand every living entity is full of lust. They want some desires. And if somebody wants to worship some Devata, I give them the faith. So Krishna gives the faith in that deity. And when that person worships that deity very, very seriously and gets the desires also, that results he is getting from the Devata, that result also is given by Krishna. Krishna is saying, in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. And those people who are worshipping the Devatas are those people who have very small intelligence. Because they are not very intelligent, why Krishna is saying is because they are not looking at the big picture. They don't have a comprehensive knowledge. They don't know what to ask. And they are looking for some temporary fruits. If we worship Devi Devatas, they will give us. Whatever we ask, they will give us. But their fruits are so temporary and so limited. But if the worship of Krishna is so permanent and we get such a benefit, which is inexhaustible result we will get. Right? That's why Krishna is saying, my devotees reach to my supreme planet only. So that's why they're not interested in petty things. Right? That's why unintelligent people, they say that Krishna was impersonal before. And now they're saying that, now he's personal. Because they do not have any knowledge. They're fools. And I am never manifest to a foolish person. Because I cover a foolish person with my yoga maya. I am the unborn and infallible. They will never understand that. Right? And Krishna knows the past, present, and future. He knows everyone, but nobody knows him. And everybody is born in delusion and bewildered by desire and hate. Actually, by birth, we are in delusion. It's not that we are born in great knowledge. We are born in delusion. And that's why we don't understand. And the only thing that we know is, I love this, I hate this. I love this, I hate this. This is what we are, bewildered by dualities. This is what we are. And persons who have acted very piously in the previous lives and whose sins are completely eradicated, they will engage in the devotional service of Krishna. So Krishna consciousness is for very, very rare souls. Those people whose sins are completely washed off. Those lucky people, they worship Krishna. Right? And intelligent people who are endeavoring from the liberation of old age and death, take refuge in Krishna consciousness. Because they are Brahman. They know everything about the transcendental activities. And those who are in the full consciousness of Krishna, knowing him to be the governing principle of the material manifestation and of all the methods of sacrifice, can know Krishna even at the time of death. So this is the end of 7 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we will stop here. We'll continue some other time. Hare Krishna.